Hi there, LuminousHank here, and I'm back with another Last Epoch video. This one's kind of a last minute video for my fellow PoE players who are coming from PoE, Path of Exile, to Last Epoch today on the 1.0 release. Well, I'm just going to give some general information on how different or similar is Last Epoch to PoE. So let's get going. We have a bit to cover, so I'm just gonna get straight to the point. And also, we are just like an hour away from the 1.0 release. Not even an hour; it's less than an hour. So yeah, soon we will be able to play the 1.0 cycle, and also I'll be streaming it on Twitch. So make sure to hop on if you are interested in the build the build guide I launched in YouTube. It's a Blast Rain Ignite explosive trap marksman. Well, basically it's a Blast Rain marksman, and I call it the Falcon bomber. Alright, so let's get on to the general gameplay. Well, in Last Epoch's general gameplay is quite similar to Path of Exile, but it's both of them are ARPGs, but well, player damage is overall lower and means that tough enemies are harder to instant kill, and big attacks from bosses and tough mobs are generally more telegraphed and easier to dodge. So yeah, well, on one hand, you don't deal a lot of damage, but on the other hand, you also have more defenses than PoE here. Like you can already see, you have so many more defensive scaling resistances than PoE, just that you can stack on gear, skill tree, and idols. Also, bosses reset if you die completely, unlike PoE. There are no portal systems here, so like you can't do cast on death skills here. There are no such skills there. Leech here can apply to dot damage apparently, and also penetration applies to dot damage. You cannot build magic find stats on gears in this game, so maybe they will implement this in the future, but you cannot build magic find stats on gears. However, you have blessings here that increases your chance to drop something that you want. You can take that kind of blessings to increase what you want to drop accordingly. Now let's hop on to characters. Well, Last Epoch has more attributes, each starting from 0 to 2 depending on the class. There are no attribute requirements on items at all, only level requirements. Attributes have lower numbers than in PoE, for example. A decent dex stacking build in Last Epoch typically has like only 70 to 90 dex in endgame. So yeah, no 2000 or 2500 or 3000 dex or strength here, guys. So that's a good news, but also bad news because we do not have like huge scaling on scaled attributes on gear. We don't have like 100 or 70 or 50 dex points on gears. Also, each class has their own passive tree and 3 mastery tree. You can check that on lastepochtools.com if you want to check it right now, or you can just go in the game and check it. But of course, you can't check the masteries for all the classes in the game. So yeah, you can go to lastepochtools.com and go to the build planner and check what skills there are, and choose a skill before you hop into 1.0. Every class has a skill unlocked with level. Like by spending points in the tree, you unlock skills. Okay, does not matter it's the mastery or the normal base skill. Like you will, once you have mastered a skill, a tree, your skills will unlock as you put points in them. You can de-level and de-spec skills. Like if you de-spec a skill completely, you will have to level it up completely again though. But if you are high level, let's say if you're level 80, you will already have 10 points in that skill that you have reset and reslotted. So you'll start from 10, and trust me, it's not that hard to level a skill or respec a skill. The build I'll be playing, or I'll be starting the league with, starts with puncture, and then it goes to explosive trap and blast rain. Like basically we convert explosive traps into arrows and we scale it with fire damage. So yeah, that's an example. And we can't have like incredible movement speed like our haste runners in PoE at all here. You will feel a bit slow, but yeah, it does not feel that bad. Trust me, it does not feel bad at all. You don't need that much movement speed like our haste runners in this game, or heist runners. All right, moving on to the skills. I'll elaborate the skills a bit more. Like, let's say each mastery gives you like 5 skills. If you have selected a mastery, you can and you have spent points on it, you can choose all 5 skills if you want to play all 5 skills. But even if you choose one mastery, there are other 2 masteries of which you can still play like 50% of the tree. Like, you can allocate 50% of the skill tree of the other 2 masteries, other than your main mastery, and you can still use 1 or 2 or maybe 3, depending on how many skills are there in the 50% area of the tree. You can still use skills from the other mastery. That's also what I'm gonna do in this 1.0. I'm playing a marksman build, and I will be using a skill from falconry. Also, movement speeds have cooldown here, like pretty much like Path of Exile. Some movement speeds have skills have cooldowns, some don't. Like, let's say flame dash, something like flame dash, you can use 3 times, but then it again goes for a cooldown. It's the same thing here. Now, scaling. Let's go to scaling. How does damage scale in Last Epoch? It's very similar to Path of Exile, and the conversion of damage is also very similar to Path of Exile. If you want to convert a fire damage skill to cold damage, or cold damage to fire one, you can easily do that. Sometimes you don't even need that kind of thing on gear. You can directly do that from the skill tree, and that is amazing. You don't need to buy expensive unique items or stuff. I mean, if you want to, you can buy, but you don't really have to. You can just get them from your skill tree. And Last Epoch uses the same increase, decrease, and more or less wording as PoE for most of the modifiers. And the skills are pretty much the same. So, like I said, it's the same as PoE. Ailments here are a bit different from PoE. Like, damaging ailments each have their own base damage per second, and their damage is not dependent on the hit that inflicted them. So basically, I'm gonna talk about my own experience with Ignite, okay? So when I saw the ailment Ignite here, I thought that it will increase my fire damage, but no, it's not like Path of Exile. Ignite deals base damage, their own base damage, instead of buffing your fire damage, but it's just some extra damage that you might or might not like. I'm trying to scale my new build with Ignite, so let's see how it goes. We still have like 30 minutes for the league start. Going on to defenses. For defenses, we have a lot more resistance type than Path of Exile. Path of Exile only gives us fire, cold, lightning, and chaos resistance. Here, void resistance is somewhat like chaos resistance. Here, like void damage is somewhat like chaos resistance from PoE and Last Epoch. Other than that, we also have physical resistance and also have necrotic resistance. Right? Necrotic damage is something that's considered a special kind of damage, like a different kind of damage from minions. Everything that comes from minion is scaled as necrotic damage. Even if you play a necrotic build, your build will be scaled with necrotic damage. Also, for defenses, dodge is like evasion rating in Path of Exile. If you have increased dodge chance and dodge rating, you will dodge completely an enemy's hit without taking any damage at all. An armor applies to all damage from attacks and spell hits, but it is also 30% less effective against non-physical damage. So yeah, it's kind of like PoE, like how armor works in PoE. yeah, low life builds are possible with unique chest pieces. We don't have energy shield here. Instead, we have ward. If you sometimes with some gears you can get ward. Uh, there's also something called glancing blow. Glancing blow is something that I have been using in my build that I have been playing, and I'll be using it in the new build that I will be playing in a couple of minutes. Not couple of minutes, in 30 minutes. Glancing blow reduces the damage of a hit, and like it basically reduces just it does. It's like how do I say? It's like spell suppression, but this is damage suppression. You will every hit you take will have reduced damage, and yeah, I am abusing this kind of for defenses in the new build. Now to my favorite part, the crafting. We have magic tier items with 1 or 2 affixes. Rares have 3 or 4. An item can only have up to 2 prefixes and 2 suffixes. There's a special crafting item that can add a 5th affix to a rare item. A 5th affix here is like locked affix, okay? It's like, let's say, an implicit or fractured, something like fracture. But it's like a extra fracture. Once you have fractured that item, it does not count as a suffix or affix, and you can just craft what you're crafting, like 4 affixes, with the 5th one locked there that will stay. Mod tiers go from 1 to 7. Okay, 1 is the worst, 7 is the best. That's obvious. Crafting is also done with shards here. With affix shards, you will gain a shard for every modifier you need in the game. You have to keep playing and you will drop shards. You can craft with them, you can upgrade your current stat with them. So yeah, that's how it works. But also keep in mind that there's also something in a gear called forging potential. If while crafting something on the gear, you use up all your forging potential, you cannot craft again. If the forging potential is 0, you cannot craft on it again. Unique items sometimes can have legendary potential. It's in one of the endgame dungeons lets you combine a 4-mod exalt with a unique, and the unique will gain random mods from the exalted equal to the number of LP it has, which is legendary potential. So yeah, you need to do dungeons in the end game to do that, to fuse your unique with exalted mods. So crafting is amazing in this game. It's not like Path of Exile. Honestly, I don't like that RNG in Path of Exile with essences and all the orbs. It annoys me sometimes, but then again, it's also fun. But I think I'll have more fun crafting items in Last Epoch. Well, let's hop on to the end game. In the end game, we have monoliths. Once you are done with the base monoliths, you'll go to the end game monoliths. You will complete echoes and gain stability and keep on growing and keep continuing the monoliths. Once you're in the end game monoliths, you can also reset it and do that again. And there are 3 dungeon type of keys. I forgot the name of the keys. I think one is Soulfire Bastion key. I forgot the name of the other 2 keys, but yeah, you have 3 keys, and all 3 keys are like dungeons. So basically, monoliths are like atlases, and well, dungeons are like dungeons. Basically, dungeons. Well, and when it comes to trade here, Last Epoch has a system called item factions. Players can choose to join the Merchants Guild or the Circle of Fortune, and guild members can buy and sell items. With circle members can get magic find bonuses and limited ways to target farm. So this magic find bonus or the target farm is what I was talking about before, about blessings. They will give you blessings, and sometimes you'll get some bonuses there. Well, no, wait. This is not blessing exactly, because I'm not very sure about how this system is going to work because it's not implemented. But yeah, These factions will give you some good buffs to target farm. Also, you can gift items to players if you have resonance. So you need to play with your friend for a while, so you can give an item to your friend. Okay, the game recognizes if you know this person, or if you're a friend of this person. In that case, you can give it to that person. If you have not dropped resonance with your friend, you cannot give an item to your friend. So that's basically how. That's an overview on how trade works here. Now let's talk about some similar builds that you can play. If you're coming from Path of Exile, you can play Cyclone here. Yeah, on Sentinel, if you use the skill Warpath, you can play Cyclone. It's basically a two-handed, like this guy uses a mace or a weapon and holds it with two hands and spins. So I believe you can scale it the same way like you scale your Cyclone. You can also use COC Cyclone, like cast on crit Cyclones here. COC Ice Spear, I don't know. I have not tried it. So I have no idea if there's a possibility of COC Ice Spear here. But my guess is no. So yeah. You can also have Righteous Fire, builds like Righteous Fire, Blade Vortex, Ethereal Knives, similar builds here, just different names. Ethereal Knives would be called Shuriken. Blade Vortex would be something called Maelstrom. We have Spectral Throw, which is basically Hammered Throw here, and you can get that on Sentinel. And we have also Arc, skills like Arc, and we also have Auto Bomber skills or builds here. And of course, we have Necromancers and Animate Weapons too. So yeah, I mean, there are a shit ton of new builds that you can try, or if you want to try something you have been playing Path of Exile in your first build, so you feel comfortable, yeah, go on and try one of these builds that are already there. I am not starting with a build with the kind of build that I have been playing Path of Exile. I'm trying something new, and yeah, I already released the guide in my channel. You can look it up in the description below. I'll link the video if you want to play that build. Like I said, it's a Blast Rain Marksman. So basically that will be it, and soon I'll start streaming the new cycle 1.0 cycle. So if you're interested in the new build and if you want updates on it, or if you have any questions about Last Epoch, you can come to my stream and ask it right away in the chat, or you can also join my Discord that I will link below. So if you like the video, do leave a subscribe and leave a like in the video. That I would really appreciate that. And I will keep releasing more videos on Last Epoch in the coming days. And of course, videos on my build updates. So that would be all for today. Best of luck for the 1.0 League. I hope you have fun. And see you in the next video. Or on Twitch.